Hello, my name is Holly, and I'm here to simply share my experiences of what it's like being in this body, female, autistic, ADHD, having other mental health, I guess you could say, challenges, and everything from, let's see, I wrote some stuff down. Female, autistic, ADHD, PTSD, borderline, voices, bipolar, seeing angels, demons, single mother, growing up religious, being a filthy sinner, yet still loving Jesus and God and others, and yet feeling like I am the toilet paper of the world. Anyways, all of that has simply been there to answer my one question. Is it okay to simply be me? And what does that mean? What is me, or who is me, and what does it mean to be okay to be that way? And realizing, wait a minute, I have had this mask on me for a very long time. What is this personality that I've created? And if I've created it off of these social standards in order to make me fit in and be acceptable, what would it be like if I didn't? And what would that be like? Anyways, so I'm just simply sharing my experiences, and some of them go into depths of hell, death in the grave, Tartarus, and the lower realms of Sheol. And I know I probably have a more religious or biblical language or vocabulary because I grew up Southern Baptist. So I grew up, even though as a little child I would go outside and play in the woods and play with the leaves and the wind blowing around me, and I would talk to the animals, and I just knew love. But then I learned, but God's love is very conditional, because He loves everybody, but you still go to this hell if you don't do A, B, and C. And this inherent understanding of, or this inherent teaching that you are a sinner from your inception in your mother's womb. You are worthless. It's not about you. And just what that really has done in my life. And yet, still understanding and loving Yeshua, Jesus, and God, or the source of our creation, and being able to have the right language. Because again, being autistic is like I'm a literal thinker. And so some of these things did not make sense and does not compute. Well, God's ways are higher than our ways, and we're just not going to be able to understand it all. So what does that mean? I just have to accept what somebody else says and then just close my mouth and be quiet, because God loves a quiet and gentle spirit. And if you want to learn something, just go home and ask your husbands, women. All of that stuff. I don't know about this anymore. Anyways, so how do I handle and reconcile all of this? And also the mental borderline, PTSD, and why did I have all of that? Because some of the abusive things that have happened in my life. Why? Because being autistic, you're 3 times more likely to be coerced or manipulated, or whatever the word is, into doing things that you didn't want to do, especially if it was anything sexual, or like giving your money or giving something away, or into doing things you don't want to do. Because for us, at least for me, like, why would people lie? I don't understand that. Why would people manipulate? Why don't you just be honest? So anyways, this has propelled me, especially in 2020, when I know that woke up a lot of people going into the spirit realm, in the sense of, I've got to figure this out because something is terribly wrong. So terribly wrong meaning, I remember when I was a child, and God seems like a narcissistic parent. Is it because of my upbringing, or is this religious deity in the Bible really the source of all unconditional love? It doesn't add up, and it doesn't fit. So let's see, I wrote something else down. And then going into medical school. As I was going through medical school, I realized I just can't be a part of this. Just really opening up my eyes, because I know I was very sheltered when I grew up, and to really seeing just a lot of the corruption in the world and in the medical field. And I know there's good people there. However, the way that the system is run and the medication that they put into, when I went through pharmacology, I don't know what the word is. I was a bit numb. and then going through clinicals, that's when I had to quit, because the way that people were not being treated well, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was like, well, who wants to take this person? This person's difficult. Like, I'll take her. And she was a very overweight lady, and she was just laying on this bed, and nobody cared. And just like, she was rough and yelling at everybody. But by the time I was done with her, she would grip my hand and cry, and she didn't want me to leave. And I walked her through some trauma with her father that she had, and let go of certain things because nobody was just there for her and talked to her. Just, scrape this off, take care of her leg, wrap it and go. I'm like, I can't do this. So going through pharmacology, that was when I had to do, I started learning about medical marijuana, and I started researching that into plants and plant medicine. So that's what I have used for myself and other such plants that don't harm you when I take a look at the mechanism. Anyways, how I have used all of this in order to help me to change, in order to grow my telomeres, in order to make neural connections, new pathways, and neuroplasticity, and to be able to connect that to my heart instead of just crying and crying out of my head and out of this lower realm of limitation and sinner and you're worthless and I these voices and bipolar, I have a great day and terrible day, and being able to accept all of myself, because again, all of this has been for me. This one point, this one question was, is it okay to be me? Just my own self, whatever that means. And being able to use these plants to help my chemistry, because that is one thing that has very much kept me in the dark, is my state of chemistry. So using that, what is it like when an autistic ADHD person uses certain plant medicine? Like the little things that grow out of the ground. I don't know what I can say and cannot say, but it has helped me very much. And going through different books, not just the Bible, going through, stepping out of that, being, possibly an apostate, because I'm reading something other than the Bible, like a channel book called The Law of One, or Journey of Souls, or the Tao Te Ching. Oh my goodness, another religion. And then finally leading me thus far to the Kathara freedom teachings with the CDT plates and all of that, to understand how I was created in the spirit realm first, and things that I'd like to talk about, like everything from this fallen matrix system with the Metatronic codes that do keep you in a system that ends up falling apart, consuming itself, corrupted, whatever you want to say. But then looking at that in a way of saying, but wait a minute, all of this was created for a reason and a purpose. So just like if you want to go play a video game, or you want to go get on a roller coaster ride, there are certain things on there that's going to happen. You're going to be twisted and spun upside down, and you're going to scream and shout. But that was the purpose of it. Even the Metatronic codes, or the geometry, it's corrupt, and they're lying to you, manipulating, and all of that, which I understand that. However, if you want to come down and play this game, those things are set up in order to bring about death, because death is a part of this realm down here on earth. And that's okay, because we're an eternal, everlasting being of infinite consciousness and awareness. And we're like, okay, well, what are we going to do today? Just sit on the clouds and strum the harp again? No, I know. Let's go into a haunted house. Let's go into a roller coaster ride and see what's going to happen. Let's go limit ourselves so much that we don't even know that we're a part of God. We're just this filthy, worthless worm in the dust. Nothing. Ooh, what's that going to be like? Yep. And so reconciling all of that, still having a smile on my face, while still also allowing myself to go down to the depths of hell, to have torment and pain, to be isolated and nothing, to allow all that to happen while not even knowing that I've allowed myself to have that to happen, and getting angry at everything and everyone because I don't know why I'm stuck in hell, why I have these mental health issues, why I'm isolated and alone and I have no support, why do I live in this room, it's leaking, I don't have a toilet, I have an electric cord in order for my electricity, and wait a minute, I'm supposed to be a part of this angelic realm of the Elohim creator gods, and yet I can't even get a leak fixed in my room. Something is off, because If I'm talking to the people who are like me, then we know that there's something more to us than just this filthy sinner, but yet we're trying to reconcile all of it and understand our own health issues, meaning our belief system, and all of that combined together. And realizing that, you know what, I am more than what I've been taught. And I don't have to look at it like, oh, everyone's manipulating me and everyone's out to get me, and, there's devils and demons everywhere. And yeah, there are, but so are there angels and all of that. And we're still in control. We still have power over all of it. And I don't have to look at it as, oh, Metatron and, this matrix system and, the archons and all of that. They're deceiving you everywhere, and be careful and be afraid, because that's still keeping you down in the lower realms of I'm insignificant and they've got so much more power. No, like, we chose to ride this ride. Like, when you're in the middle of the roller coaster and you're flipping upside down and all that, hey, you chose to get on the ride. Just go with it. What's going to happen? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to die and you go back home. It's all right. However, it's taken me over 40 years to get there. Over 40 years to say, you know what? Let me just let go, put my hands up in the air and just scream and have fun like I don't care. It's okay. So anyways, that's part of what I wanted to say, want to talk about. And I guess this is just the first video in a series. I have no idea where this is going to take me, but I have to share, because that same energy of sharing and giving is part of what I've come to do, as what we have all come to do, especially those beings who do resonate with this, who know that you're of a higher realm, and yet you're still reconciling these lower realms of hell that we've been to, and trying to understand how to balance it all. Like the Tao Te Ching, how do I just stay in the middle of this infinity loop? One side goes way over there into hell, and yet I've also gone into these heavenly realms, so I know that exists. How do I stay here in the middle? Do I want to be in the middle? What all this means, at least for me, in my understanding, and still holding my power and my sovereignty as a creator Elohim being, and who knows whatever else label I want to put. I'm just here right now living my life. That's all I know. That's what I know. All these other labels, all these other things, we'll find out. So thank you very much. And thank you very much.